go to our ScreenLogic here, okay? And we're just gonna hit the app. And here is our app. Let me just back up a little bit so we can kind of see what's going on. All right, so this is our new app for the ScreenLogic. And they just recently added the pumps, okay? And so now you're able to completely control the pumps from the phone. Before, it was a secondary app. Now it's all in one, so it's a beautiful thing. So at the very top, you've got the main menu. And the biggest thing for you to know is right under main menu where it says Pentair, that is your serial number, okay? Now that is definitely good to know because that is the number that you need to put in if for some reason you're outside of your home Wi-Fi, okay? And it's called local and remote, and I'll show you. If for some reason you can't find that, this is your equipment at home, that serial number is on this little white box with the one red light. It's somewhere connected to your router, okay? But the serial number is right here, and it'll give you that information, and then you'll be able to access, okay? So right when, let me just kind of back out of this and go back into it. So right away, you're gonna see local and remote there, okay? Now the green line was under local. That means within our Wi-Fi, we'll be able to pick up anything within the Wi-Fi range, okay? If you're outside of your Wi-Fi, you would use the remote access. And then basically the remote access is going to give you the same access, but you're gonna be outside of your home Wi-Fi. If you have unlimited data package, you don't have to worry about that. Keep it on remote at all times. The only reason they have local and remote is so you can save your data. So if you're home and you don't have that unlimited data package, use your local at home. When you're away from home, use your remote, okay? If you don't, use your remote all times, every time, nothing matters there, okay? If you have an unlimited package. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna show you my pool. And I'm gonna go to remote, okay? Now what I've done is I've just slid over, I pressed the remote button. Here is my serial number. Don't nobody take that down because if my lights start turning on and I'll know who it is. So here's my serial code, okay? Now you can put a password in. It's totally up to you guys to put a password in. If you're anything like me, I can very rarely remember my passwords to begin with. So I highly recommend don't put a password in, just leave it blank. Somebody would have to be in your home and get the serial number, and then they'll be able to access it. So unless you don't like people being in your house, I wouldn't worry about whatsoever. I would just leave it as blank, leave the password. If you're very secretive, put your password in and just work it as that. So remote, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the connect button. Okay, so what that's going to do is that's going to try and find my pool. So here's my pool. So again, you've got the main menu, you've got your main serial number, and then right now it's telling me it's 87 degrees outside. Now what you'll notice is that it's green. So green represents an actual time or actual reading that you're getting. So right now it's saying it's actually 87 degrees outside, okay? So we have our very first mode, which is pool, and we're just gonna press that line. And what you'll see at the very top is pool and cleaner. Again, you may see low speed and high speed. It's the exact same scenario, okay? So for example, right now it says the last pool temperature once the pool turned on was 77 degrees. So let me just back out of that and show you one quick thing that I just caught before is see how that last temperature is 77 degrees, it's gray. That means that it's not the actual temperature that it's reading now, it was the last temperature that it read, okay? So for example, once I press my pool on, okay? So right now my low speed pump just kicked on and it's slowly circulating water through my pool right now. And what you'll notice if you go back out, that temperature now is green. You see that? So right away when you're in the screen, if you see that water temperature is green, you know the pump's on, and that's the actual reading, okay? If you're looking for an actual reading and you're not sure of it, turn the pump on, let it circulate for a few minutes, and you'll start to see the temperatures make the adjustments. So if, for example, you see water temperature and it's like 95, you're like, no way. Turn the pump on, let it run a certain little bit, and you'll see the temperature come down and regulate to the normal temperature, if that makes sense, okay? Because there's a sensor that's in the pipe. Without the water running, it's just an open pipe to the sun. You can see the temperature kind of rise. Make sure the pump circulates first, and then you'll take that reading, and it'll give you the true temperature, okay? So there's the 77. Again, totally up to you. Press pull on, pull off. As you can see, pulls off now. High speed, the same exact way. I kind of like, is most of yours set up to where you have high and low all on the pool like this? If it's not, get with me. But you can set these squares or these locations any way you want. So you could have one tab, have everything all in one tab. Totally up to you how you want to set it up. So for example, if you wanted to come to your pool tab, you could have pool lights under it and water features to where everything's on one page, let's say. I don't like it like that. I like features, I like lights, and then I like pool. I kind of separate it, if that makes sense, okay?
What if you don't have to just have a low speed?
There's a high speed there for sure.
There's high speed too.
Yeah, it's there. It may not just be on this particular page, and I'll show you right now. So here's our pool page. Again, pool, low speed, high speed, off, and heater. Let's say I wanted to fire up the heater on my pool. I'm going to go over to heater. I'm going to press that, and now you'll see my set point and my actual temperature. Now, you would all think that you would understand that, you know, if the set temp is below the actual temp, that the heater won't turn on, right? Because it's already there. A lot of people tend to forget that if the set temp has to be above the actual water temperature in order to fire the heater. If that makes sense, okay? So for example, right now my heater won't turn on because it's saying, hey, I want it at 52 and it's already at 79 degrees. So if I wanted to turn my heater on, I would simply slide this around. Come on, slide around until I am above the pool temperature. So now I'm asking that I want the heater to run to 83 degrees. My water is currently 79 degrees, okay?
Ours has off heater, heat pump prep, and then heat pump.
Yes, so you would have that. Do you have a heat pump? Yes, so that's why. So you would just have, because some people just have gas heater, some people have gas heater and heat pump, so then you'll be able to control each individual heater. So that's why you have that. So on yours, heater represents gas, heat pump represents heat pump, which is electric heat pump. The heat pump PREF, what that does is it only represents when you're utilizing the actual heat pump, and then it will use the heat pump first and then top it off with the gas heater. So it's basically letting the heat pump run first, and then the gas heater will kick on after that, okay? So
when you hit heater, I noticed it didn't turn your actual low speed on.
no, you have to actually turn it on itself. Yeah, you want to turn that on because it's not an automatic feature. So that's what I like about it, because what happens is if you just accidentally hit the heater button, next thing you know, your pump's on and you're running your gas, you know what I mean? You actually have to do a few things when you're heating for pool. Spa, completely different. When you hit the spa button, turns everything on automatically. You see what I mean? So that way you're not trying to heat your pool up without you knowing, okay?
How come there's not a cooler button? Like, how do you turn on the cooling feature?
Cooling would be for your heat pump, and a gas heater will only heat water. It won't cool water. Yeah, that would be electric heat pump, and if you're trying to cool, you would actually have to go to the actual heat pump and set it on the heat pump. But you won't have a cool feature. The reason for that is most of the temp sensors are only set up to balance something that is basically, here's the water temperature and you want it higher. The sensor doesn't go in reverse and trigger something when you're asking it to be lower, if that makes sense. So you won't have a cool feature on this unless you have a Pentair heat pump. If you have a Pentair heat pump, then you'll be able to go into here, go to cool, and you won't actually go to cool. You'll just simply set the temperature, and then the heat pump will figure out whether you need to cool it or heat it, if that makes sense. So for you, you have a gas heater?
No, it's electric.
It's electric heat pump?
It's a heater cooler.
Okay, so then if you want to cool it, if it's not the Pentair and it's the AquaCal, the black unit, yeah, so you have the AquaCal. So if you want to cool it, you got to go to the actual heat pump, set it up as a cooling, turn the pump on, and then the heat pump will cool, but you won't have the feature through the ScreenLogic, okay? If you have a Pentair heat pump, that's the only heat pump that you can set, but you still won't have a cool heat. You'll have a heat only, and then you'll basically just set the temperature. So let's say we're 79 and I want the water to be 67, it will tell the heat pump to kick on. Instead of heat, it'll cool. But you see, there still says heat. All I did is set the temperature lower. But on your scenario, you got to go to the heat pump. Again, there's so many different scenarios. It's just, you know, it's kind of tough to figure out each one. So everybody okay with the first one here? So we're in good shape? All right, so keep moving. Here is the next one is lighting, okay? So first off, the very top, it just says turn on and off. Okay, so basically here is my laminar light, and that's just, now the light program in here is strictly for the color lights, right? So yours will probably say pool light on here, and then you'll be able to turn the pool light on and off, okay? Mine is a laminar light, and that's the only function that I can control with the actual lighting menu. And it's all about the IntelliBright light, and I'll explain that later. So then you go to lighting itself, and now here is your color set lighting. So for example, you have your 5 standard colors. Magenta is a really cool color. It's a really cool color at night. And then you have your 6 party modes: party, American flag, romance, sunset, Caribbean, or Royale. Now I really like these, but you can, on this scenario, you can set exactly the program you want. If you want a red, you hit red. Now I am working with Pentair because I think that when you choose that, that should blink so you know it's being chosen, right? See, this really doesn't tell you, yeah, it highlights it in green, but I like the pulsating type stuff. I want to see that I've chose that particular color, okay? So right now, I just basically told my lights to turn on red, and in my backyard, they're red right now, okay? And then you can basically turn them on or off however you want. At the very top, you have an all off button, and basically I just turn my lights off, and then all on, set, sync, and swim. I wouldn't worry about the sync, and I wouldn't worry about the swim because it's not gonna be for your pool. Basically, if you had 4 or 5 different lights in your pool and spa, you can swim the colors through your pool and spa. Most of you probably have 1 in pool, 1 in spa. You could use that if you want, but for me to you, I would just stick with the on and off color. It's just a lot easier. And by the time you figure it out, it'll be too late, and you won't even have to spend time to enjoy your lights that you figured out. Okay, so basic scenario here, on or off, and that's about it for the lighting, okay? Again, and then now we have our feature here. So we're just gonna hit our features. Now what you'll notice on mine is pool light is in the feature, not in the actual pool light menu, okay? Because I have a non-Pentair colored light in my pool, okay? So now the only way I can turn my light on and off and change colors is by going on and off and on and off. Once that light dies, I will definitely be in the Pentair range, and then I'll be able to pick the color and it'll go to that color. So you guys are in a better scenario. Okay, but again, you can go in manually and turn it on and off as you wish, and it'll change the colors the exact same way. All right? Yeah, so I connected my yard lights to my control panel, and so I can turn my yard lights on from the phone. I like that option. It's just, it's real easy to do. Most of the Malibu lights are connected right by your pool equipment anyway. You simply wire it into the control panel, and you'll have full function of them. You can turn a fan on in your patio. You can turn on a light in a corner. Anything you want. If you have the space on your control panel, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so it's really, really extra features. So again, on-off features, yard lights, pool lights, water feature, and mine's a laminar, which is a colored jet that comes out. But as you can see, this is just a manual on-off for your features. So this will be where your water feature, your waterfalls are on and off. Very simple on that. And then we're going to back out here. So then we're going to go to our pumps. Okay, pumps, IntelliFlow pump. And here's our speeds. So the cool thing I like about this is, so my pool is set up, see how mine is all RPM? The reason mine's all RPM is because I have the old version of the pump. Nothing wrong with it. Same pump that you guys have. It's just an older version. It's RPM only. So as you can see, if I want my water feature higher, I simply go up. If I want my water feature lower, I simply go down. Very simple. Okay. Cool thing here. Now the only thing about this is you kind of go in and out here. So if you go to your features, and I'm going to kick my water feature on. Once I kick my water feature on, I'm going to back out and I'm going to go to my IntelliFlow pool. What you'll see is that this water feature is green. Takes a little bit. We figured this out. It just takes a little bit, but what you're going to start to see is you'll see the actual power usage. So you know right now I'm using 274 watts and my RPM is 1450. So if you're really one of those people, which we all should be, is to make sure that we're really utilizing our electricity properly, we can increase or decrease our wattage just by changing our pump speeds. So if you really want to crunch things down, you know what I mean, run your water feature, take a couple hundred RPM off. You may not even notice the difference in the appearance of your water feature, but you've saved your wattage because your wattage goes down. Does that make sense? So really we're looking at this water feature going, it looks awesome. But if you can change it just by a little bit and it still looks awesome and you saved yourself wattage, you saved yourself money and you're still in the same scenario. Does that make sense to everybody? So what's really cool about this is it shows you the wattage, it shows you the RPM. Now it's not going to show the GPM because my pump's not set up like that. It's RPM only. Okay? Any questions here?
With the update, Bill, the question was, is that set in ScreenLogic, or do you have to enable the pump speeds? You can't find the pump speeds on the right level.
It's instantly, as soon as it loads, when he goes to the pump, it should automatically load that information. I would uninstall the app, reinstall the app. But yeah, if the speeds are there, it should show under the IntelliFlow pool. Yes, sir.
Mine's running right now. The low speed is 1850 and the high speed is 3150.
Yes.
Too high?
So no. 3150 I would say is just about perfect for your high speed. Now your low speed, we set probably because you have a chlorinator. Do you have a salt system? So each pool's different again, you know what I mean? Again, the size is different, but your chlorinator has to have a certain amount of water pressure to engage the flow switch to turn the salt cell on.
Can we go to cricket today, Dad?
Oh yeah. Constant with me, constant. That's my daughter wants something. Well, I gotta be careful of that, huh? So as you can see, this is, 17-year-old daughter at home. Always wants something, you know. But as you can see, the power usage here, it's a really cool thing. It's an adjustment. And like I said, always, you know, play with things if you can. You know, go home and make those adjustments, because if you make the adjustments, you're going to save yourself money and you're going to, you know, prolong the life of your equipment. So always make the adjustments. Go ahead.
How do we know what the chlorinator, if we, like, I was going to set at 1850, so I should really leave it at that then?
I would say 1850, leave it at that. But what you could do is go into your program, go to 1750. You know what I mean? On the salt chlorinator, you have a flow light, which turns green, okay? If you don't have enough flow, eventually it'll go red, and that means that it doesn't have enough flow to chlorinate. So what you could do is you can lower the RPM as low as you can until you see that red light come on, and then bump it up just a little bit. You know what I mean? So you're really kind of playing this chess match with the system, and it's good for you to do, because like I said, if you can run your water feature, right, and you could take 100 or 2 RPM or GPM off, and you can still have that same good looking water feature and save yourself watts, you're only saving yourself money. You know what I mean? So make the adjustments all the time. I mean, what I do is I'll take an hour or 2 off my low speed and I'll run it for a week and go, you know what, my pool looks awesome. It looks exactly the way it was. And I've just saved myself 2 hours of runtime. You know what I mean? Or you make the adjustment and go, oh, all of a sudden my pool looked perfect and now it looks a little cloudy, you know what I mean? Or it doesn't look as crisp as it used to, and I'll put my hours back on. But what I'm saying is make those adjustments, do the actions, and sometimes you'll save yourself money and still get the same results. Okay. The final one I wanted to go over, again, is schedules. Okay. Now, if you notice, it already pulls in the egg timer. So here's my schedules as so. And I would just keep that on for now. Cleaner, 4 to 8. My pool speed is 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. Okay, so if I wanted to delete this, I could slide left, just like a regular phone. If I wanted to change the time, I just simply press on the time itself. The time will pop up, scroll up or down. Very, very simple. So you could see the difference. You press these buttons, or you just slide and touch on the phone. From me to you, this is the way to go all day long. Okay, it's just a lot easier. But again, I wanted to show you that.
So when you do your high speed, you only run it for 4 hours?
Only run it 4 hours. Yep. So you see I made this big window. 11 p.m. it kicks on low speed. It gets to 4 a.m. and then it goes from low to high. And then it cleans to 8 a.m. 8 a.m. it's off. And then next night it kicks on 11 p.m. and so forth. So I would recommend keep your high speed as is. As far as time goes, adjust the low speed. Okay. And then just to keep things moving here, we're a little over time, is at the very bottom, you have egg timer. Every scenario is preset for a 12-hour egg timer. If you turn your pool lights on right now, 12 hours later, it'll automatically turn off. So there is an egg timer built in for you automatically. But like I said, as you can see, my pool lights, 2 hours. My laminar lights, yard lights, everything's set up for 2 hours. So if anything turns on, 2 hours later, it turns off. And if you want it back on, you simply turn it back on. You get another 2 hours. 2 hours later, it turns back off again. Okay? Very cool. Histories, delays and alert. The history is kind of cool. It gives you just a basically parameter of what the temperatures were, at what day and what time. It's totally up to you if you really want to utilize this. I never really utilize the history very much. I just leave it as is, and it works pretty well. Okay? Really quick, anybody have Alexa? No one? You guys are worried about the Alexa thing, aren't you? The Big Brother type scenario. I have Alexa, and what I like about it, it connects right to your ScreenLogic. I don't need a phone. I sit on my couch. I ask Alexa to turn my water feature on. It's awesome. I'm telling you, I love it. There's a skill. You just go on Alexa, you set the skill on Alexa, and you just say, Alexa, ask Pentair to turn your pool light on. And okay, pool light goes on. Another cool thing is iWatches, okay? The iWatch mirrors the exact same as your phone. I can turn my pool water feature on, my pool lights, all from my watch. Super cool. So you can set up your watch, set up your phone, set up your Alexa, all through ScreenLogic. I'm telling you folks, one day we'll be able to order Thanksgiving dinner right from the phone. I'm waiting on that day, you know. But what I'm trying to get at is times are changing, right? Everything's on the phone, and this is the way to go. It's so much easier how to work your pool from your phone. So definitely enjoy it. We got to I got to shut it down because we're a little over time, so I apologize. An hour goes quick, but if you guys have any questions, get with me. I'll happy to go over anything for you. We'll have another class at the end of next month. It'll be a different, we'll send an email out. It'll be a different topic. We'll do more in telechem systems, water chemistry, and stuff like that. So hope you guys learned a little something here. I appreciate your time. Again, if you have anything that you want me to go over personally,